the space for positive and uplifting. Once a week the scope gifted. Let's hear from Buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on the day, we always here for you. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we want is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we want is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you can walk like Brandon with no award toys. This culture meets the art, podcast with the heart. Essence of the growth, the powers in the people. Without you we ain't equal, what we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go, run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change the visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is power. Without it we turn coward and proud of a known product. Like we could take it with us. I wish the greats were still alive and we're here with us. But it is what it is. We're left here to share our gift and that's precisely what we'll do with it. Shape shift and fluidly we can pass this test and still in our unity. Elevated through stress, yes. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Yeah. It's up to you.
What happened? Weird. Can you hear me now? I hope you all can hear me now. All right. They said no sound, but I should have sound now. Classic C Gems, it is good to see you. Bryson and Jen B, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me now. Hopefully you can. Yes. Okay, you can hear me now. Perfect. I don't know what happened. I just clicked the thing off and clicked it on again, and it's fine. So, you know, you're not going to get the best of me technology. Not tonight, you're not, because I'm up. We're all up, and it's too good of a night to waste. What's up, Bryson? He is both on the Instagram side, excuse me, and also here on YouTube. So let me say hello to everybody. I think I neglected to say that last time. Hello to everybody who is watching on YouTube, the tubing of the U. Welcome. Bookface, let me tell you, only my Bookface is working, my personal Bookface. Bookface, you don't want me to cancel you. Believe me. I'm not the one you want to cancel you. And also, look who is here. D Carpio. Hello, D. D, how are you feeling? I know you were feeling a little bit under the weather. I hope you feel a bit better and that our fun tonight will help you feel better. And Jenny is here too. Jenny Sorokin. Do I say your name right? Sorokin? I always mess it up, but Jen B is here. How are you? Welcome, my dear. And hello, beautiful, to you, to you, to you. All right, let's do this. And Bryson says, hey to Gwen. D, Where are you? Okay, says hello to me and everyone. And yes, she is here. I'm so glad that you're here. It is wonderful to have you. But you know what I have to do? Also say hello to Kim Kimmy. What's up, Kim? And Lisa Seeley has also joined. Welcome. All right. Well, you know what I have to do before we start this after dark journey. Hug time. This is to let you know what? It's 10:22, damn near 10:30. You could really for real be anywhere, especially in your bed. But you are here on a Friday night with me. For that, I am super thankful and super grateful. Classic C Gem says, Happy Friday, everyone. Listen, that's her thing. She loves to say Happy Friday, and we are happy that you are here. Fantastical, fantastical, fantastical. Hello, Kim. How are you, Kim Kimmy? All right, let's do this. We've got quite a few things. Hold on. Let me rearrange some stuff. Okay, there we go. Rearrange some stuff so that I look like I have some sense. Okay. All right. So, as you see, we have the after dark lighting is back again. So, they're all charged up and ready to go for the ride. And let's see. All right. So, we are going to actually start. We've got some stories tonight, and I've got pictures tonight. So, we are going to start with some media news. Let's do it. All right, and we're going to start with some media news, but I realized I'm rude. How is everybody? How was your day? Let me know what you got into today. Did you go to work? Did you not go to work? Did you tell them you were sick and you really weren't? Let me know. Did you do anything special tonight? Are you out and you're watching me? I'm really interested to know how your day was. How's the weather where you are? It's hot here. It is hot here. I'm okay with it, but it is hot here. So in South Florida. So let me know how the weather is where you are. I know in on the New England, probably it's starting to cool off. Northern California is probably cooling off. So let me know. When I looked at temperatures the last time, it was still fairly warm across the country, or at least if it's warm during the day for you, at night it starts to get cooler. It's that time of year. 'Tis October, by the way. Let's see. We've got some things here. Oh, Terry says it is 65 degrees in NYC. Now that's nice. Is that during the day or 65 degrees at night? Let me know. Absolutely. Yes, Bryson, I do have that on tap. I am going to talk about that. So we'll get to it right now in just a few. And let's see what's happening over on Instagram. Fenton Haney says, Good evening to everyone. Hello, my dear. And you love it already. All right, Classic C Gems. That's good. Why Terry 8 has joined us. Kim says, No work. Good for you. Fight the power. And Dreary here in Pennsylvania. Sunny and warm tomorrow, though, 78. Take advantage of the sunny and warm days because you all that live in cold places, it will be cold. And Ali A. Jones, how are you? Welcome. Classic C Gem says sweater weather. For you all, not here. Definitely sweater weather. What is this sweater weather in New York? Let me know. Lisa said it was about 80 today in North Carolina. You are always all over the place, my dear, but good for you because I live vicariously through you. Also, let's remember that today is also an Ask Me Anything day. So we've got some news stories, but it's also a time for you to learn. So if there's anything you want to ask me about media, tech, pop culture stuff, if you want advice on cameras, if you're looking for advice in terms of microphones, anything that's technical, you're looking for live streaming, let me know. Oh, and speaking of live streaming, for real, we're about to start, but I have to, Dr. Vibe and I have a great conversation coming up on Monday. And if you call yourself a live streamer or you call yourself using some of these platforms, even to just record video, my dear, I need you to be here. My dears, I need you to be here. So, Y Terry says, good evening to everyone. And Kim says, yes, never ready for winter except when I was a kid. Yeah, because you don't have to shovel. Try shoveling. That's not fun. They can keep that all day long. All right. G says that it is breezy this evening, but still 75. And I think you're in Galveston, Texas. And Terry says, I like fall. Well, as we discussed last week, you all can have every piece of my autumn. I don't like leaves on the ground, wet, deciduous tree leaves on the ground. That is the bane of my existence. Besides Facebook, that is the bane of my existence. Oh, Arlington, Texas, not Galveston. Galveston is south. That's on the Gulf Coast, right? You are in Arlington, Texas. Sorry. And Terry says, will I do a who asked for this set? You know what? I actually am. I think I am. So you guys have requests. Good. So who asked for this is basically my what the hell is this? Or today on did I raise my hand to ask for this? So we will find. I think I have a story that is like that. So we'll make that work. But first, I definitely want to let you all know Monday, you have got to be there at 6 p.m. Eastern time if you can. Or if you can't, it's okay. You could. That's why we have a replay. And you can watch it in several different places. All right. So let's see. Where are you? Okay. We have this coming up. It's all things live streaming. And if you all don't know who Kirk Nugent is, follow him on YouTube. And if I tell you to do something, follow my lead. Seriously. Follow him on YouTube. He is going to be our guest. Dr. Vibe and I are doing a mashup. It's the mashup you never knew you needed. It's the Dr. Vibe Show and MediaScope. So this Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, October 7th, it will be on all of my channels. So wherever you're watching now, you can watch there. You can also watch on Dr. Vibe's YouTube and his Facebook, provided Facebook is working for him. It's the pages for me that Facebook are not working, but my personal account works. Of course, I said something to Facebook. They've said nothing. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're too kind, too kind. All right. So let me look at this. G says that's going to be a great show. I'm excited. Absolutely. I've got a heart from Terry. Yes. Bobby Stamps is here. It says Westminster, California thinks about Joker 2 tonight. Yeah. So this is interesting. I actually have some stats, I think, on Joker 2. Who has seen Joker 2? Anybody? Let me know. So anyway, we'll get to that, Bobby. Absolutely. If you've seen it, Bobby, put it in the chat. I want to know. So please join us for this. It will be on all my channels, as I said, including Instagram and here on YouTube, my personal Facebook page, LinkedIn. So it will be there. Make sure that you be there or be square. I don't know why that's my saying so far, but it is. Let's see. And here we go. All right, let's take that down and let's get started with some media stuff. All right, so Chris Brown. Listen, first of all, Investigation Discovery. Not that they haven't always done this, but as of late, it feels like you take the most despicable situations and you turn them into a documentary. Now, I don't have a problem with documentaries for information's sake, but I'm always like, well, what comes out of this? What is going to come out of this? And it seems like, let me just take this down for a moment. It seems like ever since Quiet on the Set about, Nickelodeon and the child actors came out and everything with that, it was wildly successful. They're like, let's make more of this type of investigative stuff. I have no problem with doing things like that to shed light, but I'm like, is this going to help or hurt? Anyway, let's put it back up. So there is a Chris Brown domestic violence documentary that is set at Investigation Discovery. This is according to the Hollywood Reporter. And this is actually going to be part of their No Excuse for Abuse campaign. And ID does have one coming up. So it's going to be called Chris Brown, A History of Violence. And it's going to premiere on October 27th. So I want to know if you'll watch. So get your answers ready. Let me tell you a little bit more about this. So Again, Chris Brown, A History of Violence, is going to launch their third annual. Now, I don't watch ID, so I had no idea they've been doing this. This is going to be the third year, but it's going to launch their third annual No Excuse for Violence campaign starting October 27th. And this is what is being said. Chris Brown's is an amazing, talented musician, but let's call a thing a thing. He's an abuser of women consistently, unapologetically. And this is a voiceover that a woman is claiming in a teaser trailer for ID. And you know what? Let me see if I can find it and we'll play it. Will I get in trouble? Possibly, but maybe I can get away with it. So that's why sometimes I don't play some of these things, because I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble for this, or get dinged. But let me see if I can. I'll try and pull it up. So there are a lot of people that are coming forward and speaking about this. And after the premiere, Sunny Hostin, who's one of the co-hosts from The View, is going to lead a discussion with experts about intimate partner violence for the ID audience. So it will be the documentary, and then Sunny Hostin will lead a discussion. And this is the type of thing I was talking about, that if you're going to do something like this, there needs to be a follow-up for this, so that, see, I can't stand telling the problem without action. And that's why sometimes we have caucuses, task forces, panels to which sometimes nothing is done about. It's just to talk about the issue. We love a conference, don't we? Folks love a good conference. Folks love a good documentary. But what gets done about it is the thing. All right. So with that, let me know, will you watch it? Kevin and I have a segment on our podcast called Will You Watch It? So let me know. Will you watch it? Are you interested? Do you care? And so going back to Kirk Nugent, Classic CGM says, okay, sounds familiar. Nugent. Yes, check him out. He is Kirk R. Nugent. There is another Kirk Nugent, but you want Kirk R. Nugent on YouTube. He's brilliant when it comes to live streaming, can suggest platforms. So you definitely want to be in on that. Bestie is here. It says, hey, Doc. Hey, Beautiful Reflections. How are you? Welcome. Eyes on Me, LLC, has joined as well. And Excellentaire, I think I said your name right. Hello. Turtle, hey, how are you? Welcome. Bryson is asking if anybody has seen Joker Folie à Deux. Let us know if you have. ACB Therapist, yes, it is out right now. Fibro Patient Education, it is good to see you. And Ms. Viola, welcome in. And Lisa Seeley says, can we have this same energy with Garth Brooks as well? Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Garth Brooks has been accused of assault by, was the woman a stylist, like a hairstylist? I'm trying to remember exactly who she was, but I just saw this today. He has been accused of this as well. And I hope it's the same energy. So this is what we have to remember. Absolutely. How do I say this? And I said this last week, I think. Absolutely, there needs to be the same energy. But what I don't want us to confuse is equal justice under the law when it comes to people of different ethnicities and the fact that somebody did something wrong. Because what ends up happening is then we start focusing on the fact that, well, Garth Brooks didn't get, and we don't know because this just came out, Garth Brooks didn't X, Y, and Z. But this happened here. And I do understand there are inequities when it comes to handing down punishment and law. Definitely. But in this particular case, we're talking about somebody who has done something wrong. So while I agree, I just don't want us to get caught up in the semantics of the fact that this individual has been proven to do something wrong. Equal justice under the law is a separate thing altogether. And it gets muddy when you start to put everything together. That's just my professional opinion anyway, but people are free. You're free to feel however, because it is a problem on both sides. Indeed, indeed. Let's see. ACB therapists. Oh, okay. You were talking about Dr. Vibe. Okay. Cool beans. And Classic C Jump says, never saw or heard of this. Guess was not looking. DV month, huh? Yes, opening up people, then need to follow up, especially about this topic. Yes, because you're opening trauma. So great. You show this and then you have nothing to follow it up, because it's not only about the people in the documentary, it's the trauma that is brought up for anybody who has been victimized by this, or by anyone has been victimized by anyone perpetrating this on them. So you need to have something there, and this is something that often media is guilty of. You open all these doors and all these demons come out, and you don't have a way to put the demons back behind the doors at all. So they're just floating around wreaking havoc. So I'm glad that they are having this conversation after the fact. Tell me if you're, I haven't seen it. Is anybody going to watch it? I am not interested in watching this, just like I wasn't interested in the Diddy one that they're doing. Isn't this? Now, let me be quiet. I'll keep quiet. Let's see what people have to say over here on the YouTube side. All right. So Bobby Stamp says he has not seen Joker 2 yet. If anybody has, please let me know. I mean, I know it's only Friday, but if you have, let me know. Let's see. Hey, Durham Skyrider, how are you, Pat? Wonderful to see you. Yes, we are doing a MediaScope After Dark, so thank you for being here. G says this: I have no want to watch those kinds of documentaries. I don't understand the point of them exploiting trauma. Exactly. I think it's an exploitation of trauma. I see where it can be helpful to air stories of people who have gone through these things. However, if there's no follow-up and nothing to help alleviate trauma that comes up from this, it's useless. In my case, it does more harm than good. Mimi Hinton, hello, welcome over here on the YouTube. Yes, YouTube side. Hey, Jeanette Ashworth, how are you? Says, hello, saw that I was live and joined. Always value your opinions and expertise. I work as a psychotherapist for part of my professional work. So true, trauma is complex. Thank you. That's right. So you have tell me, I want to know what you think, Jeanette. Do you think it's valuable to have documentaries of this type? So often they have these types of documentaries, and I don't remember seeing any talk back afterwards, or feedback, or panel discussions afterwards. Then all the demons are just out. But let me know what you think about documentaries of this type. First of all, we all know there's a money grab here. Nobody can convince me otherwise. You can try, but you're not going to. So there's a money grab here. It's a current topic. It's a hot topic. And so particularly because of what happened with Diddy, and it's coming out now, this is, and DV month, they are also rushing. Everybody is rushing to get to this. Wait a minute. I think, who else is a therapist here? If I'm not mistaken, ACB therapist. And then Classic C Gems, are you not a therapist as well? So I think we have like 3 therapists in here, if not more. So let me know what you all think from a therapist perspective, what you think about these things. Lisa said he did something wrong, yes, but he paid the price for it already. How long will we punish him? Interesting. So that is very much an interesting thought. ACB therapist, D Tuggle. I already got her comment. D Tuggle is here. Hey, D Tuggle, welcome in. Classic C Gem says law enforcement is punitive and rehabilitation can be better in these situations. Of course, it depends on the extent. Then it may fit and how it may. So it's to the extent. Absolutely. None of us are therapists. Definitely. And this is not to say, as rehabilitation has been brought up, does not mean that rehabilitation cannot work in these cases. So again, for somebody who is a perpetrator who may be rehabilitated or on the road to rehabilitation, these types of things can bring up trauma as well. I think in the public eye, it just feels like there are no repercussions for these individuals. And is it our individual problem? No, but it seems to be a repeated pattern, particularly with celebrities, that things are done and nothing gets done, or nothing, there are no consequences. That's what it feels like. And I think that's why some people are looking at this very closely, if that makes any sense. But again, I certainly do not know the whole story. I don't know everything that transpired. All I can go by is what information is already available. Again, it seems like when things like this happen, particularly when it's not just celebrities, but notable people, that it gets swept under the rug, or that we have a perfect example. Let's not do politics, but we have a perfect example of somebody who was running for office where this is the case. So I think that's why people are interested in this. Socially Good TV, how are you? Welcome. And Bernadette Nails has joined. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Lady Militant has joined. And Classic C Gem says, just generally speaking, in previous comment, but every situation is different. And she has a clinical background in social work, prevention, and trauma-informed yoga. So you're the perfect person to speak on this. Wow. Thank you for your thoughts, everyone. Thank you for your thoughts, folks. If you're just joining, welcome into the fold. This is MediaScope After Dark. As you can see, we have the After Dark lights up, the purples and the pinks and fuchsias and such. That is our After Dark setup. You all said you wanted me to do it after dark rather than yesterday at like 6-ish or so. You said, do it today. And I said, I shall. And so I obliged, because the MediaScope massive spoke. DJ SK is here. How are you, DJ SK? Wonderful to see you here. Jeanette has more to say. Let's see. Derek says, Dr. Tyra, is she in the chat? I don't see Dr. Tyra. I know Dr. Tyra was on earlier herself, so she may not be here. But Dr. Tyra, if you're here, say hey. And Derek Tuggle has good evening, good evening, good evening. Jeanette Ashworth says she has not seen Joker 2, but plans to. A big fan of both leads and read some mixed reviews. I did as well. You all already know I'm not going to the theater, so I'll just have to wait for it to come out on streaming. Jeanette says a producer and director could consult with a therapist. It's important not to exploit survivors and be mindful of how their stories are told. She also says survivors may not want to tell their stories, but they're in need of support. And also, it seemed like Cassie Ventura was not believed by many about Diddy, and then the videotapes were released. So, well, let me ask this. Is that usually the first thing? Is that usually the first place that people's minds go to? The fact that their stories are not believable. The people that have been victimized, I don't like calling them victims, because that makes them their condition rather than them suffering from a condition, or dealing, I should say, with a condition. But I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a therapist, but those who have been victimized, is that generally the first place that people's minds go, that they are not to be believed? Let me know. Fantastic. All right. So, she just finished with Dr. Candace. Okay, I didn't know. I know she was on earlier. I didn't know she was still on. Okay, so she just finished. Hey, DJ SK, it is good to see you. So, Classic C Gem says this: yes, exploited or swept under the rug, no in between. All right. Well, this will be a developing story, and I'm sure for those of you who are interested in seeing it, it's October. What did I say? October 27th. I was about to say 29th, but it's October 27th. So if you're interested in watching that, you'll be able to see it on the ID network, which is Investigation Discovery. I am not. I won't be watching. All right. Okay. So 9 to after 10 for Dr. Tyra. Okay. I should have remembered that. For some reason, I thought she was done. That's why came on. All right, but good. Hopefully she hops on in. All right. Jeanette says so many survivors do not tell because of fear of not being believed by law enforcement or larger society in the case of celebrity perpetrators, which is why I'm guessing so many people have to come together to say, this happened to me, this happened to me, so that it looks like a pattern, or it is a pattern that people can see, I should say. Well, this is really heavy. You see already where it's taking our conversation. So I'm interested to hear about it because, again, I don't want to watch, but I'm hoping that the talk back afterwards will be useful and helpful for not just for just society in general, the people that are viewers in general. All right. Well, let's go on, folks. If you're just watching, welcome to the fold. MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. But it is a MediaScope after dark because it is after dark, well after dark. My name is Tachi. I am a media professor, a filmmaker, a media content producer, also a journalist. And guess what? Usually we're here on Wednesdays, right? During the day, well, no, during the evening, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then you can listen to the replay on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean. By the way, we wish you a multitude of blessings. I'm going to put this up again because I really want you to come to this. Dr. Vibe and I are doing a great conversation on Monday, October 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Our special guest will be live streaming expert Kirk R. Nugent. So if you're looking to get into the live streaming game or up your live streaming game, make sure you come and ask questions, queries. Definitely. All right. We are going to continue on because we've got another story. Well, speaking of documentaries, there's a James Dean documentary coming out. I hope everybody knows who James Dean is. I know probably not many of us were alive at the time that he was at the height of his career, but apparently there is a documentary coming out. It's a biopic coming out about James Dean. It's a feature in the works, and it's supposed to explore the personal life of the legendary actor James Dean. It's by writer-director Guy Guido. He's acquired the rights to William Bast's 2006 memoir, and that memoir he wrote about James Dean, and it was called, or is called, Surviving James Dean. Sheesh, not surviving James Dean. Yeah, so the script is set from the first meeting between Bast and Dean to the actor's passing on September 30th, 1955. And the movie's announcement is actually timed to coincide with the anniversary of Dean's passing. So it's going to focus on Bast and Dean navigating their evolving relationship and Bast coming to terms with being gay during the 1950s. He says this: I have been a fan and historian of James Dean since I was 18 years old. So I knew about his friend, and he puts it in quotes, Willie, even when information about their relationship was straightwashed by the Hollywood machine. Guido says this in a statement. As a filmmaker, I love telling the story of a celebrity's life in their coming of age period. As a gay man, I was particularly drawn to Bast's unique story. Well, this should be interesting because I knew none of this. Is anybody a James Dean fan or knows about James Dean and his sister? I did not. So I found this interesting. So this is actually supposed to come out in 2025. So look for it then if you are a James Dean fan. Let's take some comments. Here we go. Oh, speaking of Dr. Vibe, look who came in. Greetings. Make sure that you are on here this Monday to watch myself and Dr. Tachi get live stream knowledge bombs from Kirk R. Nugent. Yeah, I put up the flyer twice already, Dr. Vibe. So I'm hoping everybody here will be on there. And Derek says, wow, that's something I didn't know. Look, I had no clue. I had no clue whatsoever. Bryson says, everybody knows who James Dean is. Y'all watch him on TCM. No, you watch him on TCM because you are Mr. you are Mr. Pop Culture. But just in case there are some people who don't know who James Dean is, a prominent actor in the 1950s, kind of known as like this, had this bad boy persona, very handsome actor. But again, all this I did not know. I did not know. And Jeanette says that the event with Dr. Vibe looks fantastic. It is going to be wonderful. Let's do this. Jeanette does have another comment about this. She says, intriguing how the Diddy situation has so many celebrity connections and so much speculation relating to others like Usher and Justin Bieber and what they may have experienced as young men when they first spent time with Diddy for mentorship. This is a whole mess. It's an entire mess that has been floating under our noses that we did not know. This is going to be something interesting. Definitely, definitely. Charlene is here. Hey, Charlene Satterfield is here and said that she always suspected that he was gay. Interesting. I guess I was none the wiser, but I don't know that he obviously he did not come out and say something, but I'm wondering, is this the first time that this has been said? Interesting. I don't know that much about James Dean, so I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of reminds me of remember Rock Hudson and that type of thing back in the day. Obviously, that you could not say in Hollywood at that time, especially that you were gay. That was not something to be done. And so interesting indeed. Let's see. And Dr. Vibe says, did I chat about some of the new YouTube updates? No, not yet. We haven't even gotten past story. This is story 2. So we haven't gotten to tech yet. And there are some updates, absolutely. And Derek says, how many of the heartthrobs and movies were on the download? You had to be, right? There's no way in 1950s Hollywood that was acceptable so that you could say anything. So you lived this double life, basically. And it wasn't until later that things would come out. Like I said, the same thing with Rock Hudson, the same thing with, what's his name from the Brady Bunch? Somebody help me. I can't remember his name. The father on the Brady Bunch. Is it Mike? That was his name on the thing, but can't remember the actor's name. And then Charlene says there was a Netflix show that kind of spoofed off of James Dean and Rock Hudson. Really interesting. Robert Reed, thank you. I was like, why can't? So Robert Reed, it was the same thing with him. So yeah, very interesting indeed. Let's see what's happening over on this side. Donald Brandt, how are you? It is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So Fenton Haney said, he was always playing a tortured character with relation to James Dean. Also, Fenton Haney has seen a few of his movies. DJ SK says, I'd recommend the Elizabeth Taylor and Gary Coleman documentaries. Both are brilliant. E.T. speaks of James Dean. Now, I've never seen either one. Have any of you seen the Elizabeth Taylor or Gary Coleman documentaries? Let me know. You know what? I think I have. I need to make a list of documentaries I need to see. Correct. Same with Rock Hudson and so many others, says Fenton Haney. Classic Sea Gems. Did he do? No, I don't think he did any cowboy movies. It was mostly. Listen, if you ask me to name a movie James Dean was in, no, that was Marlon Brando. Because one of my favorite movies, though, was A Streetcar Named Desire, obviously based off of a play. But when they did a movie, I don't know why I love that movie so much, but I do. So that was Marlon Brando, not James Dean. But that same type of character, that bad boy, that's the type of character he liked to play. Raymond Torregano is in the house. How are you, Raymond? Good to see you. And Mrs. Williams now, it is good to see you. Lisa says this, Diddy beating and abusing Cassie over and over is not the same thing as CB and Rihanna. It is definitely a different situation. Definitely a different situation. I usually get consent or permission to make sure a person is comfortable and has already worked through it. This is classic C gems, especially the individuals I've had on my platform to share their narratives and victories. That makes sense. Let's see. I'm making sure I'm not missing anybody. Lisa says, did you see where the prosecution and his attorney made a deal to seal the information and prevent it from coming on social media? They are protecting for, listen, this thing is bigger than any of us know or even want to know. I don't think we even really want to know the extent of this. Yes, it's important to come out because the thing is, yes, there are still people being protected. Despite all of this coming out now, these people are low-hanging fruit. That's the fruit on the ground. It's the ones at the top of the tree that where the real problem is. So this is going to be interesting. Fenton Haney said, Robert, somebody. Yes, 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 yes. And yes, Reed. Gary's one is heartbreaking. Yeah, I've heard that. I have to see it, DJ SK. Donald Brandt says, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You live in, I know it's, you live in Denmark, but not Copenhagen, I think. I think you live somewhere in the countryside. So welcome in from Denmark. It is good to have you here so late. Thank you. Don Reed Legacy, how are you? Welcome. And, oh, okay, there we go. All right, I think I got everyone in. Let's keep going because we've got more to go. By the way, we've been talking already now for 40 minutes. And I said I was only going to keep you an hour because I like to respect your time. It's a Friday night. So let's keep going, but that's okay. I love the conversation. This is important to me. And I wanted to come on and hang tonight. You guys, I love hanging with you guys. This is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so let's see what is next on the docket. Let's put this up. Paramount, Derek, I'm sure you know about this. Paramount has been sued by a former employee for violating the WARN law during the September layoffs. So let's talk a little bit about this, if my story will allow me. Yes, there we go. So they've been sued by a former employee for violating New York's WARN Warn Act during the layoffs that occurred in September. So that's when more than 300 staffers were let go from their jobs in less than a week, even though workers are entitled to a 90-day notice, according to the Wrap. So this is a class action suit, which was filed in New York Southern District Court on Wednesday, and it includes CBS Interactive, and it accuses the company of failing to give 90-day written notice that is required by the State Act Worker Adjustment Refraining Notification Act, WARN, for the mass layoffs, which Paramount issued on or surrounding the date of September 24th. So just a few weeks ago. So in a report, the state of New York's Department of Labor WARN unit stated employees that were set to be laid off in December of this year were notified on September 24th. A spokesperson said these claims are not grounded in any fact. Paramount employees entitled to federal or state WARN notice received it. The report also said that an additional 349 employees will be terminated from the company between December of this year and December 23rd of this year and December 31st, the week of Christmas. That's nice. Wow. Bringing the total impacted to about 1,168. So 1,168 workers. So the job cuts are supposed to end on February 14th. Why do they keep picking all of these holidays? What? Anyway. So there is a lawsuit on with this alleging that they were not given the full 90 days. Thoughts? Let me hear what you have to say about this. I know what I have to say about this. If you don't get yourself a side hustle, This definitely should not have happened. The fact that I don't know, but the fact that you're saying this is not rooted in fact, who really wants to go to court over this? It is not fun to sit in court in a hearing or whatever. And honestly, yes, there are some people who just sue for the sake of suing, but something like this is not anything that people just arbitrarily get into. Oh, let me sue. So they sued for no reason. Again, I don't know what happened, but it seems to me reasonable individuals do not want to go through the ring, because it is not fun to go through the ringer of this type of thing if you don't have to. Interesting thoughts. Let's get what people think. All right. So, Derek said, how messed up is that? It's terribly messed up, incredibly messed up, and shows a company that cares not. But I'm interested to know what the executives are making that you needed to lay off hundreds of people for this. Again, let's remember, these are publicly traded companies. At the end of the day, the beginning of the day, the top of the heap, the people they are concerned about are the investors, the shareholders, right? So whenever you have a publicly traded company, whenever there is an opportunity to either increase profits, to cut costs, they're happy. Not that they want to see people lose their jobs, but that type of thing, those cost-cutting measures increase investor confidence in the product they invested in, as messed up as that sounds. So he knew about the layoff, but not that there was a lawsuit. That lawsuit just came down. So yeah. So this is a new thing. Absolutely. Let's see. Who am I missing? Let's go over to Instagram, because I got to switch between the two. Okay, you all are talking about Gary Coleman. Hey, AR Photography, it is good to see you. Yeah, exactly, Lisa. Merry Christmas. You're doing that the week of Christmas? You're doing that during a holiday week? I just find that to be extremely callous, because one more week was not going to hurt you, but to do that during the holidays, honestly, I think that shows a lack of character, if you ask me, to do that then. So may the lawsuit continue. Hey, Pam, how are you? So Classic CGM says this: usually in corporate layoffs, there's no warning. It seems to always be around holiday and end of year budget cuts, perhaps for the next year's increases. Okay, but this is the interesting thing, because you're expected as an employee to give proper notice when it comes to things. Oh, well, we need 2 weeks. No. So, nobody should be mad or annoyed if people just start quitting. Well, no, you didn't give me proper notice, so I'm not giving you to. I'm leaving today. In fact, get out of my way, because you're blocking the door. It has to go both ways, but it has not been going both ways. I think it's ridiculous that you expect some of these large companies expect you to give 2 weeks to a month notice before you leave, yet they don't give the same courtesy. And granted, it is not written that they have to give the same courtesy, but if you're not giving me that courtesy, why would I give you that courtesy? I'm not. So, Scorpio Vibes, how are you? Welcome. It is wonderful to see you. All right, let's keep going, because I don't want to hold. We have about 10 minutes left, and I don't want to hold you. And again, remember, it's an Ask Me Anything. Does anybody have any questions about anything related to this? Let me know. Lighting, sound, all of that. I'm here to answer that, as well as After Dark. Anthony Rowland is here. Hello, Anthony, and says, had to come over from IG. Were you on IG? Did I miss you? Well, I'm glad you're here, because it is a better experience over here on YouTube, but I appreciate the IG folks, so we want to be there as well. And Derek says, I wonder what the head count of layoffs is at the Los Angeles studio. Good question. I don't know. They didn't separate it in terms of different studios, but that would be interesting to know. And Anthony Rowland says, hello to everyone. Hello to you. It is wonderful to see you here. All right, let's keep going, because we do have some more some more things. Let's talk a little bit about music. I know some of you all are music heads here. We're all, well, who doesn't like music? Who doesn't like music? So let's go to, there we go. So a quarter of indie artists now put their music straight to TikTok without a label. I think we already know that artists are now bypassing labels, right? And they're going straight to TikTok. So record labels actually used to have to beef with TikTok, but now they actually consider it instrumental in launching new songs and new artists. So there's been a switch in their thinking. About damn time. But because it's democratized, the record labels have shrunk to be according to Tube Filter, the smallest segment of the music creator economy. This is such a switch from the days of big record labels and the days of huge radio airplay. Such a switch, right? So people now are bypassing labels, which, by the way, were already exclusionary. I don't want to say exclusive, but exclusionary, because only a certain amount of people were ever going to get record deals, right? They deemed who was worthy of them. And so now it's almost not needed. And I remember very well when I was teaching at Morgan, and this is like early 2000s, like teaching at Morgan. And my students were all like, I had them do projects, media content creation projects. See, I was about content creation before content creation was a thing. So I made them do content creation projects. And I told them they can do them in any area of media. A lot of them wanted to create record labels because that's what they wanted to do. And I remember very well, I said two things. I was like, well, remember, technology is getting big. We've got, internet now, etc. For how long do you think the record label is going to be the standard for this? So I said, I'm not saying you can't make it or you can't use this for your project, but I want you to think futuristically. And then I also said, and it's also very nice that you want to do this, but the power is in distribution. It's all nice to make the albums, but if you don't have, at the time, shelves in Target or whatever, if you don't have airplay, it's about the distribution. That's where the power is. And guess what? The power is still in distribution. Although different now than it was then, the power is still in distribution. So hopefully I got some of my students to think about it. I think I did, because none of them started record labels. It's harder than it looks. So and anyway, according to Media's most recent music economy report, which is where this came from, a full quarter of musicians upload their songs directly to TikTok and other platforms, completely bypassing distributors, labels, and even streaming services like Spotify. Spotify, you too, Spotify. So musicians are recognizing that TikTok can give them the exposure and the audience that they want without needing to go there. Honestly, when you look at, there's so many creators who have gotten their music recognized because of, and even when you're think about when you're doing social media, right? And you want to pick a sound or a song, you can save that sound to use something. So if you hear a piece of music from an artist that you like on Instagram, on TikTok, you can save that sound so that you could use it with your reel. That's how it starts to get big and used over and over and over. The record labels never figured all this. They never figured that this would happen. But it's not just them. It's like with network television. They thought they were going to be king and on top forever and ever. Amen. Blockbuster thought they were the end all and be all. So this just shows you all of this happens because of a willingness to, number one, an unwillingness to think about the future of your field, a comfort in where your field is now and you're doing well, so I don't need to think that much about the future. So lack of futuristic thought is a big problem here. And resting on your laurels. You're big now, so you think you'll always be big. Well, tell that to the one last Blockbuster store in Alaska. Who said that? Not I did. Let's take some comments. I got a whole bunch of comments here. Oh, Bryson is asking if everybody has listened to the Victoria Monet Jaguar 2 Deluxe. She's sampling Sade's original hit, Love is Stronger Than Pride. I'm going to take a listen. I haven't listened to it yet, but I knew that was happening. Thank you, Bryson. Dr. Vibe says content is king, distribution is emperor. According to Prince, that's right. G says, Anthony, are folks still listening to the radio? Listen, yeah, for those of you that drive, are you listening to the radio or do you have something like Sirius XM, or are you plugging in your phones? Maybe you're listening to old school media, like you've got CDs in your car or tapes or 8-track. Maybe you're doing that. Or like this is what I do. My car is from 2003. So it still has a cassette deck in it. So I have the thing where you can put in the cassette deck and plug it into your phone and listen. So I listen to music off of YouTube and stuff on my phone. And Spotify on my phone. How are you listening to music? Let me know. Let's see. Anthony says, I have a folder with music clips and voiceovers on IG. Ah, okay. Hey, Serena is here. I think she's in here. I will go back and see. Also, love that Prince quote. Dr. Vibe says Jeanette Ashworth. He was such a genius in his music and as a businessman. Indeed. And Charlene says, I still listen to the radio while driving. All right. So she listens to the radio. If you happen to have a good radio station in your area, that makes sense. If you happen to have a good radio station in your area, that makes sense. Jeanette says, yes, I listen to the radio when traffic is calm. All right. All right. Oh, look who's here. It's the queen of food truckery and the minister of libation. This is Serena Wills herself. And she says, late night snacks, tacos and burritos for after dark. That is such an after dark snack, is it not? Tacos and burritos. See, now you're making me hungry. And Bodega Bodega doesn't close till 3 a.m. Am I going to go get it? Nope. But I have them deliver it here. Yeah. Thank you very much. See, now I know what to eat. So Anthony Rowland says this, there are no more gatekeepers at the labels and no more pay to play on the radio, right? Remember payola back in the day? That's the first thing I taught my students when it comes to media history, payola. Derek says, rumor is Universal Music is supposed to merge with Warner Brothers. The labels are losing because of the shady deals and because of social media. Well, and to this, I say that's what they get. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's what they get. All this time, you could have been doing right. And I've been saying this all week. Those of you that have been hanging with me all week, whether I've been on your live stream or whatever, it is so difficult to be evil. Why not just be good? Why not just do things for good? Because then that's when this kind of stuff happens. You keep taking advantage of people, and after a while, they find ways to bypass you, and now you are not relevant. To which I say, that's what you get. I don't feel sorry for you at all. I do not feel sorry for you at all. That's exactly what you get. Good for you. Good. You can't treat people badly and expect for your well-being to always be great as an industry. Come on. Let's go back a little bit. Serena says hello to everyone. And yes, okay. I think I got everyone. And Jeanette says, I realized I should come over to YouTube where the party is. Yeah, YouTube is where the party is, guys. By the way, both Indie Soup and myself, Indie Soup is we're live on Indie Soup right now. So hello if you are watching on Indie Soup channels. We have reached, I don't know what our count is now. 19,200? 19,000 and some. We're at 19,000 subscribers on YouTube for Indie Soup, and I hit 19,000 subscribers myself on YouTube. So partay, yay. I'm going to get, when we hit 20,000, we'll do another party. Remember how we did the party with DJ McFord? We will do it again when we hit 20,000. So depending on what's going on, and we grow pretty fast, we may surpass 20,000 soon, but we'll do a 20,000, a 20K celebration when we get there. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, flauta. Yes, absolutely. So Anthony is talking about flautas and taquitos. See, I'm hungry. Let's get to Instagram and see what they are saying. Socially Good says Spotify. You listen using Spotify. And Zoila, how are you? Welcome. And thank you for the celebratory. What is that? A party popper? A horn? I don't know what that thing is. I never knew. Lisa is doing the same thing. Thank you, Lisa. And Why Terry says, I don't listen to the radio anymore. I get my music from YouTube. Exactamundo. Scorpion Vibe says no commercials on XM radio. Okay, so you have XM radio. You're one of them rich folks, aren't you? Hey, it's rich folks, isn't it? Good for you. I'm not paying for it. Unc Funk is here. What's up? And says, you would be surprised how many people still listen to the radio, more than what people think. So absolutely. There's still, it's just like how people read the newspaper. People think, oh, the newspaper is dying. Well, I wouldn't say it's dying. It is dwindling, but it's transcending or trying to transcend. I mean, they just tried a little too late. All media was late, but there are still people who value having the feel of like the New York Times or the Washington Post in their hand, and they love that. And they don't want to get their news electronically. So just the same way, there are people who listen to the radio every day. Now, let me tell, back in the day, but because I don't drive as much anymore because I'm working from home all the time. So, and then when I'm in the car, I'm usually listening to Spotify for the drives that I'm doing. So generally not as much, but periodically I do because I do like NPR. So I do listen to the radio for NPR. And usually that's where it is when I get in the car. If I don't like what's on NPR, then I'll switch over to things. Things for Spotify. What are things? The original. How are you? I don't want to mispronounce. Welcome. And Lisa Seeley says radio. I love the no repeat on WBLS in NY. All the old school stuff is great. WBLS is a great radio station. I have to say. Back when Wendy was on there, I used to wait before I drove home. I was teaching at Morgan and lived in DC. So I drove from that hour and 15 minutes from DC to Baltimore. But you know, the traffic on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway is horrendous. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go right now. I'm going to wait. And so I would wait and then listen to Wendy Williams back in the day when she was on WBLS. And Zoila Misma is listening to the radio. Socially Good TV says radio and the station's digital channels. Okay. Classic T Gem says TikTok is not under the US, right? Such the battle to take it over. Yeah, it is not. It is a Chinese company. It's owned by ByteDance. And you know there has been the fight for ByteDance for TikTok to divest from ByteDance or the other way around. And they're fighting that as they should, because again, I can see concerns. However, if somebody came to Zuckerberg from their Facebook is, I don't know if they're still in China, but let's pretend they were in China. And the Chinese government came and said, well, no, you can't have Instagram as part of your thing. You need to divest that. Would that fly with Facebook? I'm just saying that. So if you look at it this way, I don't know. I do see where there could be problem. I do see there could possibly be a threat. but you need to do more to prove that that threat is actually there. You can't just go off of, well, you can't. You have to prove that it's actually there. And then does that make sense for you to say, well, you can stay if you divest? No, you can't do that. It's not your company if you want to stay here. Anyway, I'm just going to keep quiet. You all may feel differently. Anyway, Scorpion's Vibe says, how do they make money? How does who make money? Let me know, please. You mean how does TikTok make money? If you're talking about TikTok, it's definitely ads. The big thing with them is advertising. And now you've got TikTok Shop. There is percentage of things that comes out of there as well. So they've got a lot of ways that they are bringing in revenue. Definitely a lot. And obviously, too, with TikTok, when you have people that you follow and you're giving them these gifts, that money you spend, you think it all goes to the creator? It does not. TikTok takes a portion of that. So I don't even know if that's what you're asking, but that's how they make money. Scorpion's Vibe says they're suffering in the revenue department. Streaming does not pay well. No, it does not. If you are an artist, Spotify pays like pennies on the dollar. I don't know exactly, but they don't pay very well. That has been the argument of artists for a long time. So the chance to bypass all of that and go directly to TikTok, even if they are taking some of it, they're going to play ball because they want people over there. They want revenue as well. So they'll play ball. You may not get a $200 million Joe Rogan thing or 100 million Kelsey Brothers deal, but they'll play ball. But that's Spotify. That's your fault. You're paying 200 million to Joe Rogan and 100 to the Kelsey brothers and a few other people instead of paying the creators that are there. Why? Somebody's listening, so I guess it's worth it. And maybe they've made it back several times over. And if you have, good for you. Pammy Pam, are you talking about my hair? Thank you. Thank you. My little buns, space buns today. What am I doing on so late? Well, it's MediaScope After Dark because I didn't have time to come on today and do Monday. So I said, we'll do it today. We'll do it today. And it's also, not only is it MediaScope After Dark, it's Ask Me Anything, but nobody's asked me anything. If you don't have anything, that's fine. But yeah, ask me questions because we're about to actually log off soon because I've been on for too long at this point. I'm just trying to make sure I get through everyone. AR Photography says, good evening. Good evening to you. It is wonderful to have you here. And Socially Good TV says, execs are making goo-gobs of money. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I have, and Pammy Pam answered Scorpio Vibes. Thank you for that. Hey, one nice girl, how are you? Wonderful to see you. And she still listens to the radio online. She listens to at Deja Vu Speaks on WBLS. Okay. But uses YouTube for the rest. And Scorpio Vibes meant for the artists on TikTok. How do they make money? Yeah, so that's a good question. There are some they do have a creator program. So I think some of these artists are part of the creator program. They're working on shaping the specific, and some of you may know better than I do, but they're working specifically on shaping what music on TikTok would look like. And ironically, remember guys, TikTok started off as Musical.ly. So initially it kind of was a music platform. Then it morphed into what it is now. And I've actually been on TikTok since it was Musical.ly. So when did Musical.ly come out? I want to say, was it 2016? It had to be 15 or 16. So I got on as soon as it was there. And it was like just really people doing dancing videos. Because I'm like, I'm not dancing. But I will gladly partake and watch. So I've been more of a spectator on TikTok than a creator. I do create some stuff, but it's like when I feel like it and think about it. All right, Hannah Boy Miller, welcome. And Unk Funk says this: in the music industry, social media, music videos, etc., are all forms of advertising, marketing, and promoting. The money for the artists in the music industry has always been about touring. Interesting. Interesting. So it's always been so that makes sense. The tours, it's always the ancillary products where money is made. So touring, you make money off of touring. But what other ways now in the modern music, Unk Funk, are artists making money? What other ways in this modern time are they using technology, etc., to make money? I'm interested in that. And if you don't know, Unk Funk is an amazing musician himself. He is part of Funk, 1/4 of Funk Around. So if you don't know him and you're not following him, follow him. 1/4 of Funk Around music. Welcome in. Hello, Hannah Boy Miller. Zoila says, I must be the last person without TikTok. You're not missing much. It's all right. Because most people also post to Instagram. They also post to YouTube Shorts. And it's not everybody. Not everybody does that, but a lot do. So I don't know. You can check it out if you want. I used to be very TikToky, and then I was like, man, I just kind of it was kind of like that with me in Snapchat. I used to love Snapchat. I was like the Snapchat queen. Every day I was doing MediaScope for Snapchat. And then I was like, after a while, it's just like kind of one day just dissipated. I don't know. I need to figure out what's wrong. Anyway, all right. So I know I want to. One nice girl says, I use TikTok for research, for vacations and restaurants. Yes, it is good for getting recommendations for those things indeed. Classic C Gem says, trying to get to use TikTok. So busy. Yeah, absolutely. So it's good for research purposes. And by the way, one of the largest search engines, yes, you've got YouTube, which is the second largest. Google is the first, but increasingly TikTok is getting up there. And if Terry Johnson is there, still here, you probably have the exact statistics on how many people use TikTok for search versus other platforms. I should do a survey. What kind of survey? Let me know what kind of survey you would like me to do. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Oh, and I do have a survey. And you know what? I missed something. I'm just thinking about it now. Speaking of survey, I was supposed to have a class yesterday that I'm not sure that it happened. But in any case, Scorpion Vibe says, I'm a YouTuber. I love the Tiny Desk concerts and have discovered a lot of artists that I like. Yes, I've loved Tiny Desk concerts for a long time. And also there's I think it's British, called Colors. So if you look up on YouTube, Colors, just spelled like regular colors, COLORS, or is it with a U? No, I think it's spelled the British way. So look it up. A lot of cool artists come off of Colors as well. So that, and then I shouldn't say back in the day, but like maybe a few years ago, I always used to find good artists too, believe it or not, from Coachella. But this year I was like, I don't know, but those are places where I find interesting artists as well. All right, let me get some last comments before we vamoose. Let's see. Bryson says, I got Apple Music. I'm good. I have Apple Music. I'm good. I hear that. And we have After Dark drinks on the food truck. Buy one, get one half off. Get it before they are gone and before we're gone. Look who is here. The food plane. Hey, Diaz, it says hello to me and fellow MediaScopers. You missed much of the fun. That's okay. You're here. It's never too late on MediaScope. It's already 11:30. Sheesh. And you all are hanging in like this with me? Good for you. And thank you. I appreciate you. Dr. Vibe says, what's the next step with Indie Soup Media? Okay. That's a question. So, wow, there's a lot going on with Indie Soup Media. I won't talk about like all the things, but the next step obviously is to push to that 20 and 25,000. Also to start actually looking at planning to do some events. So looking at a couple of different things. So the big thing is make sure you're watching, right? Every day, Monday through Friday, you can watch starting from 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 5 p.m. on Friday. Lots of great shows. We have amazing creators. So if you're not watching, why? And YouTube is probably the best way to watch because that's where everybody gathers. But you can also find us on Twitch. You can also find us on YouTube. Facebook as well, when Facebook works. So we have to work that out. I don't know why pages are not working for us. But anyway, so thank you for that, Dr. Vibe. And Anthony says, I have friends that stream on those services, but whenever possible, I'll buy merch and digital downloads because they don't earn much through streams. Yeah, absolutely. We have to support. And oh, thank you, Jeanette. Says, I always love your good energy and that of the audience too. I always learn something or a number of things I did not know about the current state of media practice and trends. And that is what I will do because my mother would be ashamed if I don't know anything. I'd have to, pay all the money back for school. Anyway. And Chris Hayes says, I enjoy TikTok. That is Grace. And Jeanette also says she's impressed by the educational content on TikTok, from a psychoeducational to health to financial career topics. There are an awful lot of professionals that are on TikTok. So you can get great information. Again, when you get information from any place, please verify, please research, please make sure. But there are very wonderful, learned people. And by the way, it is possible to really do something. This is why I want people to think about social media and these platforms as primary platforms and not just a springboard to something else. And, oh, I'm trying to get bigger. What's wrong with this? Do you know how many people have the propensity to see you? And when they say they want to get bigger, it's they want to make more money. And I'm not mad at them. But these platforms will never really get to that point until we take them seriously as primary platforms. I had on the show, DS knows that I had, and you all had watched when I had Ariel from The Urbanist, a big YouTuber. He, for his Instagram/TikTok series that he did with another creator, they won a Peabody Award for it. It is possible. Now, awards are not the only measure of how well you do. And to be honest, many of them are not the measure of how great a person is, but it's nice to be recognized. But the point is, you can do it. You can make these primary and you can do something with them. We just have to work together on this. Can't we all just get along, huh? Anyway, let me take some last things. Watching TikTok dances could be a guilty pleasure. Exactly. And it could be a time suck too. So make sure that everybody is doing what you need to do, because you can go down the rabbit hole of things on all of these social platforms, particularly TikTok. And Derek said, I just incorporated TikTok with Twitch to DJ with and to eliminate Instagram at some point. We all know how troublesome Instagram can be for DJs. Right. And the key is not to get hypnotized scrolling. Serena says, are we having a party to celebrate with Indie? Yes, we will. We will. We'll get Mick to spin for us. We'll do another party. Absolutely. Bryson, no, I missed your comment about Hulu. What happened? Is there a sale? Let me know. Oh, okay. Food Plane has a comment. I have to answer this. He says, hold on. What are the thoughts about YouTube Shorts going up to 3 minutes? Okay, so I do have that story. Let's talk about that. That is the news. Sorry, let me take something. So that is another piece of news, guys. YouTube Shorts right now they still are a minute long. You have 60 seconds for YouTube Shorts. And if you're not familiar with YouTube Shorts, it is very similar to Instagram Reels, very similar to what you do on TikTok, except they're, longer, because TikTok was really the first to expand what they do, right? So so watch Reels get longer than 1:90. Watch that. So now they announced that you're going to be able, starting, is it next week? Somebody let me know. I think it's next week, but it's definitely this month. You are going to be able to have your shorts, YouTube Shorts, to be 3 minutes. Now, what do I think about this? It could go one of two ways. Let me take a sip of water on that. On one hand, it's great because I know I always end up having to record two sets of things. I'll do longer video and then I have to do a short because the longer video, I'm not going to sit there and edit all that. So I try to get everything I need to say in 60 seconds and put it up as a short. However, that's a lot of work, right? But if I was allowed to go a little over, I could relax and maybe get something that goes to 2 minutes and 30 seconds and I'm okay without having to rush. So that's good. The other side of this is our people, our viewers who are used to 60 seconds of content going to sit still enough for 3 minutes of content. And you could say it's not that much longer, but to somebody who has the attention span of a flea, it is. It is that much longer. So I'm wondering what that's going to be like. But I think also when these platforms introduce things, once we get used to it, we kind of fall in line. So that's my thought. On one hand, it's great because you get more time and you don't have to rush for 60 seconds. On the other side, are people going to sit for 3 minutes to watch something? But when it continuously 3 minutes, they'll get used to it, I think. We'll see. And sometimes for some things, it's like, oh, I wish it was longer, right? After all, people sat and watched Risa Tisa's 55 million hours of things because I was one of them, right? So I think people can get used to it on YouTube. Those are my thoughts. So hopefully that answered. Let's see. G's ready for another party? Absolutely. And Jeanette said, my clients are asking me to get on YouTube and TikTok. You definitely should. You definitely should. Absolutely. Especially, for me, especially YouTube. And up top. Yeah, I didn't see. Could you put it again? Because I didn't see what you said. Hey, DiCarpio says hello. Yay. Okay. Did I miss? It's no longer a short. It's a video. Yeah, it's not. It's at that point. It's not a short. It's maybe they should not have called it shorts because it's no longer short. Well, no, in the scheme of things, it is still short form video. It is still short form video. Anything that is less than 10 minutes, I think, is really considered a short form. Is just for YouTube. Now you've called this a short. You said this is what we're going to be snazzy and call it short. You probably should have called it something else because now it's not as short. So what do you call it? Not as shorts? Anyway, here we go. All right. I think I am going to let you all go. Hold on. C Gems asked this. Would I look into expanding to fan base? This is a good question. Let me come back to that. Unk Funk says many, music industry CEOs are owning shares in these social media sites privately. We have to start creating our own platforms. We got to unify. Yes. And you know what? That 100%. I agree. I think, though, the first thing, you use these platforms to gather audience because that's where people are. That's where people are. You also have to be careful of fragmenting audiences too much. We already have a lot of choice. And we definitely, yes, we need our own platforms. But because there's so much choice already, some people are less likely to go someplace else. So there's a delicate balance with all these things that I don't know we have quite figured out yet. Hulu has Black Friday every year. Okay. Is that what it was that you were talking about, Bryson? So the Black Friday? I'll go back a little, or if you put it in, I'll read it again. And so let's go back to what I look into expanding to fan base. So fan base, for those of you who don't know, that is the platform that Isaac Hayes III owns, and he is in the midst of huge capital raising campaign. They've done a couple of days of fundraising or raising capital, I should say, on YouTube for him. Roland Martin has been involved, and there have been other people involved in terms of getting this. I think it's a great platform. There's a lot there. You value truth, right? Let me take a sip. I think it's a wonderful platform. It is rich. It is a combination of what a clubhouse used to be, plus Instagram, plus um, there's so much to it. It's really rich, and I see the promise in it. I think it's promising. No, let me tell the truth. This is what to me is not promising. When I went over there, I did not see my audience. Does that make any sense? Just like any other platform, if I go and my audience is not there, it doesn't make sense for me to put. And I don't get me wrong, I support. I actually invested in um fan base. So I actually, when they were doing those funding rounds, I actually invested a little bit. So I believe in the idea, and I think it's great. One thing that needs to happen is there needs to be, to me, a diversification of the audiences, because, and this is what I resent when it comes to things, when people think that all black people are the same. In case you didn't notice, I'm not really hood, and I'm not saying everybody over there is hood, but what I am saying is the type of people that I encountered over there were not the type of people that I normally would be around. And I was like, okay, this is not working for me. And that's okay. Everything is not for everyone. But I think there is, to me, it feels like a blanket, black people are a monolith and this is what they like. I don't like that. I don't like this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to be over there. So I think once there is the funding round, the rounds of funding, it levels off a little bit and they take a look at it, then maybe they can look at, all right, well, how do we draw in different types of people? Because honestly, what was happening when I would go over there, some of the types of people that were there would chase me away because I didn't want to be around that. And it's not just fan base. That's with any platform. If I see folks that are not there, that's why I'm not on X that much. And I'm not comparing fan base to X, but I'm not on X that much because there's great people that are still there, but then there's so much deplorability. Yeah, it's not a word, but deplorability. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Okay. Scorpio Vibe says, I really don't care for TikTok. Some dude had 175,000 likes talking about FEMA declaring martial law in North Carolina. Crazy people. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's why you have to be careful and you have to do your research. You can't take everything at face value. Classic CJ. Yeah. Long or short. Yeah. Or not so short. Let's see. Oh, how did I like what Big John did with his little internet series? I haven't seen it. What did he do? What did he do with the internet series? Let me know. Classic C Gem says, yes, value the truth. They are making upgrades to good. That's good, but it was already a wonderful platform technically, tech-wise, really great stuff. Maybe every once in a while some bugs, but really good stuff. It's the community that was my issue there. Monty, how are you? Welcome. Classic C Gem says he does have a younger following. Now seeing some of the other ones, understood. I hope he does diversify some more. And again, it's early. It's still young. There's still time for change. What I'm not going to do is be the Matthew Henson for every platform and put my stake in the snow and say, I claim this ground for the nerds. No, I need sometimes for people to start to woo me. I don't feel like being a maverick all the time. Okay. Ugfunk says YouTube expanding shorts to 3 minutes so corporate companies can do more advertising. You know what, Ugfunk, you are so wise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, 1 minute doesn't give you a lot of time to do great advertising, but 3 minutes does. Aha. Aha. Absolutely. Miss Diva Forever, how are you? Okay, let's see. All right, Sarita is going. The food truck is about to go. Get your last dibs. Get your last dibs. And Charlene says she felt the same way about fan base. And again, this is not to denigrate fan base at all. Like I said, I think it's a great platform. It's not the platform, right? It's the people. That's to say, some of the people, not everybody, some of the people. So again, I don't know if that's something that he's heard. I'm sure he has, but if not, if you ever see this, know that there are some people that may not feel 100% comfortable with the community that's there now, and that's why they're not participating. People, if you don't feel comfortable, they're not just going to blindly support because of who's involved or whatever. You may want to support, but yeah, like I said, I've already supported in that way, but I'm not necessarily going to spend time over there. So something to think about. Yes, changing the price. Hulu is changing the price. I did read about that. Yes, absolutely. Nice seeing you tonight as well. Good night, Food Plane. All right, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and end. There's more stories, but we're already at 11:47. I don't want to take any more time. You guys seem to like doing these. At some point, we will do another one. But next week, hopefully I'll be able to come. Well, Monday I'm coming on. That might serve as MediaScope for the week. I may come on Wednesday, but that will be MediaScope on Monday at 6 p.m. Okay, so let me put it up one more time so that you all can see. Don't forget, Monday, 6 p.m. This is actually going to serve as MediaScope, but I may come on Wednesday as well and do some stories. But if not, this is our MediaScope. It will be Monday, 6 p.m. on all the usual channels. Plus, in addition, Dr. Vibe, because it's a co-joint thing. That's not right. It's a joint operation between the Dr. Vibe Show and MediaScope. We present live streaming expert Kirk R. Nugent. All right. So this was great as usual. It was so much fun to have you guys here. Thank you, everybody who joined us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Well, my Facebook anyway, and Twitch. It is great to have you here. So with that, I am going to let you go. You don't have to go to bed. You don't have to get out of your house, but you need to get out of here. So let's do this. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much once again for coming. And let's end the way we always do. I love you for watching. I bid you adieu. You guys, myself, all of this information, we are about to exit stage left. Until Monday, I will see you. Cheers.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities. Here we offer you. We gon' show you a new way. The content it never stays, but positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope's gifted. Let's hear it from fake. Hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a date. We